All right, good. All right, guys, so I'm in the brand new 2016 Chevy Malibu.
Yes, sir.
And this is the hybrid version.
Yep.
With the man who spent the last 4 years of his life
literally
revolving around this car. It's Jesse
Ortega. Ortega, yep.
And Jesse is the chief engineer.
I am.
Which sounds like a big title because it is a big title. I mean, you are responsible for everything that's in this car.
Yep.
So I'm going to give you the softball question first.
Okay, yeah.
What are you the proudest of?
I'm the proudest of how well it's integrated together. Because a lot of it, like you mentioned, there's a lot of components, and we'll have engineers and we'll have development engineers that have different parts of it. But at the end of the day, the whole car has to come together, and it has to feel like a cohesive unit, right? It has to feel like, if you look at our vehicle, outside it's very luxurious, it's aspirational. You come in here, this is a beautiful interior. As you drive it, it has to give you that luxurious, it has to look like it was done by one person. It doesn't look like it was done by a committee. And what I'm most proud of is how well integrated this vehicle is.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to be honest.
Yep.
The old one was a little frumpy. Right? The back end was a little frumpy. And you guys have lengthened it.
Yes, we have.
You guys have added 1.3 inches of legroom in the back, which was also a complaint on the old one. And, you know, it's gone from kind of frumpy to sexy.
Well, I thank you for that. And part of it, as we start doing programs, you take a look and say, okay, where did maybe we not achieve what we wanted in the previous one? And certainly, as you mentioned, in the styling and in the rear seat accommodations, we felt we were lacking. So when this one came out, we absolutely needed to kill those, and I believe we have. You know, I'm looking at the number of times that people are pulling off on this media event, taking pictures of it, right? And they see the beauty of it. We've had people, and you're a tall man, who says, you know what, I want to ride in the back on this next leg, and they're going, I've got no problems back here. So yeah, I think we have addressed those.
Yeah, and you know, the one part actually that I really like on this car is the way you've integrated that rear tail light
at the top.
It looks really sexy.
Yeah, it does. I like it. I like it.
It's, you know, sometimes they look just added out, and sometimes you don't notice them, but that one you really notice.
And you know, here's a good thing about that, right? So in doing that, not only do you get great styling of how it's integrated, but you get it either off of the deck lid on the back. So if you look at our deck lid, it looks sexy, it's clean, very horizontal, makes the car wider, right? Makes it look wider. And then you get it off the package shelf. So from a visibility standpoint, you're not trying to look through the chims or through the high mounted stoplight.
Now, you were talking about the fact that this car has a lot of the latest technology when it comes to safety, right? So one of the things it has is lane keep, where it finds the lines on the side of the road. You said you use both visual and radar based.
There's two systems, so we have two levels of system. One of them is a camera based system, and then the second is a radar based system, and that's for more forward collision alert or adaptive cruise. The one for lane keep assist is a camera based that's right here behind the inside rearview mirror, and it's looking at the two lines and it's identifying them, and then as you get close to one edge of the line, it'll start nudging you back towards the center.
And you said you guys had like long conversations about how much it's supposed to nudge the steering wheel.
Well,
right?
well
you said that, right? You can make it really.
I did. Imagine this, right? So I deal with engineers, and engineers like requirements, right? So what's the force? How long? How quick should I bring it back? And you go, well, just give them a nudge. So I start saying nudge, right? Well, what's a nudge mean? Is it a hard effort? If they're doing 30, is it the same nudge at 30 as it should be at 70? Is it the same nudge at 60? So you have to start. There's a lot of discussions where you're going back and forth to try to, because you don't want it to be so abrupt that you startle the driver, but you don't want it to be so mild that they don't even notice it, right? So it's that blend, not only for one speed, but really for all speeds that it's enabled.
Now, some of the manufacturers require you to keep your hands on the wheel for that to work. You guys haven't done that.
We haven't. No.
Why was that?
What we do is we're monitoring the number of times that the system comes on. And if you have let go of the wheels, we believe we can detect it because you're going to bounce from one side to the other. And so we have a criteria base that says if you're bouncing off 3 times within this level of time, you don't have your hands on the wheel. So then we'll notify you, to take, to turn. Well, we don't turn it off. We just tell you to take steering.
Okay.
So you'll take steering.
Yeah, because you could drive it like that, and then usually what happens, especially if you're on any kind of straight road, it kind of ping pongs.
It does back and forth, because it's correcting.
Yeah, it's correcting.
You notice we've been under battery power all this time.
I have, yeah.
Have you noticed that?
I've noticed that, and what's really cool about this car is it gets, I think, 47, right?
Yeah, combined.
Combined,
yep. 48 in the city, 45 on the highway. And those are our estimates because we're going through the final EPA certification right now.
Now that's really good. Now, of course, the segment leader is the Accord hybrid. That one's at 50, I believe.
That's at 50 for city, but its combined is 47.
This commercial is brought to you by this, TFL tees. Get this, guys. This is our very first t-shirt that we ever designed, like 5 years ago, and of course it's got the classic "Sea Level is for Wussies," and we've recreated this design so that you can get one of these for the holidays. All you have to do is click above or below, and we'll take you to the TFL store, and you can pick one of these up for your loved one or for yourself. This is a very limited time campaign. Cyber Monday is the time to get one, because after this campaign is over, we won't recreate these t-shirts. Design number 001 can be yours. All you have to do is click. Thanks. I remember when I was a young kid, right, and my dad had an old Eldorado, and he was happy. Nice. He was happy to get that, like, in the teens, right? Right. And this is a big car, and you're getting almost 50 mpg.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Or the other part, you think about that same thing, and this is a big car, and we're putting a 1.5 turbo in it.
Yeah.
And you're driving them, and it's more than that. Than enough. It's a very nice engine for it.
The one thing I have noticed is the turning radius is a little on the big side.
Well, part of that was when we went in and redid it, we lengthened the wheelbase.
Yeah.
So we increased that by.
So you're gonna make it a little bit longer.
So it makes it. Yeah, I mean, it just physics right there.
You can't mess with that.
Yeah.
All right, and the other thing that you were talking about that people seem to be really smitten with is the fact that you have a teen driver mode.
We do. Yeah.
Tell me about that. How does that work?
So teen driver is a feature that we're introducing on the Malibu that allows you to identify a key fob as a teen key fob. So whoever's driving using this key fob would be your teenage driver, let's say. So you would go in, you put the key fob in, you enter a password for it, and then you register that key fob, telling the car that that's your teen driver.
And that goes to Junior.
And that goes to Junior. You give it to Junior. Now, every time Junior uses that key fob, the car knows it, and the first thing it does, it turns on all the safety featers that you have.
And you can't turn them off.
You can't turn them off. You can't be disabled. Unless you know the password, but if they don't know the password, you can't turn them off. So
blind spot monitoring.
Pardon me?
Blind spot monitoring.
Blind side, forward collision alert, pedestrian alert, anything that you've got, adaptive cruise brake, everything that the system has is turned on and cannot be disabled. Traction control, everything. Parking assist. And then secondly, when you first set it up and registered as your teen key fob, you also went in and say, I want to sound an alert at this maximum speed. So let's say you pick 70 for the freeway, right? Yeah. Anytime Junior goes above 70, it's going to give him an audible alarm. And until he comes down below speed, it's going to keep giving him the audible alarm. Secondly, you also have the ability to set, that you want a reduced maximum volume. So they can't crank her all the way up. They can go to this maximum volume. But the most important feature that I like the most is that unless the driver and if there's a front seat passenger are both buckled in, we're going to mute the radio. Okay. And there's nothing more that Junior likes than his music, right?
Yeah.
And that
or her music.
Or her music. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. So that to me is a phenomenal feature because we've gone on and you take a look at some of the statistics. There's data that comes back that says over 45% of teenage drivers in passenger seats don't wear their seat buckles. And there's nothing that says more safety than your seatbelt.
Now I've heard that you got 10 kids. Is that why?
I have 9, but thank you. Unless you've been talking to my wife while I've been on these trips, but no. I have 9 children, so I've had 18 drivers.
Yeah, and it's true. I remember when I was a kid, right? I remember my first car, I was going down a road, and the road led to a bridge, and there was a car next to me. It was a 2-lane road, and I was with my girlfriend, and we decided to race. So I got up to 90 miles an hour, and my lane ended up being under construction and like flying into the river. So I came within feet of flying into the river and killing myself and my girlfriend. And my girlfriend was pissed off at me. She was like, "What the hell were you thinking?" And I was like, "Hey, we didn't die." I thought it was all cool. I was like,
yeah, because you think you're invincible.
Right, at that age, you think that way, right?
Yeah,
I mean, she was the adult. I was the...
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, she was like, and I was like, "Hey, we didn't die. It's all good.
It's all good." No, so, the best response I ever heard to what were you thinking? I wasn't, Dad. Obviously, I wasn't, right?
But there's also a display right after you're done driving the car. Tell me about how that works.
So, after any length of time, it could be the one trip that your son or daughter takes. It could be a week. It could be a month. You can go in using your password again. You can pull up a report on how they've been driving. So what it'll tell you the number of miles that they've driven. It'll tell you the maximum speed they drove. So it would have caught that 90 right on the heading to the bridge. And then it'll also tell you how many times the overspeed alert went on, and if any of the safety features came on. It will also tells you how many times those came on. So that gives you an opportunity to say, hey, I noticed that you got lane assist coming up a lot, and you got a couple of pedestrian alerts stopping. Are you texting?
Will it tell you how long and where they've been parked?
Yeah. No, that it doesn't.
That's probably what.
Yeah, that it doesn't. Got to work on that one. Yeah.
You got to trust your kids for that one.
Yeah.
So so that there's a lot of thoughtful features that are built into the Malibu. And did you have to fight for these things? I mean, was this something, because this is all expensive, right? At some point, it has to come in on the MSRP. So the more stuff you add to it, the lighter you make it, the more technology, that all costs money. Well,
we talk a lot about on our team, right? That we don't buy into the or, okay? It can't be, it can't be beautiful or spaciousness. It's got to be and. It's got to be both. It's got to be spacious and beautiful. And so you talk about, mass reduction, that it has to be expensive, that it's either heavy or it's expensive. We've done this with a lot of high-strength steel. There's not a lot of aluminum components. This is not composite materials. We got an aluminum hood. We got some aluminum components in our chassis, but the rest of it is just really smart engineering around how we've done the structure. But at the end of the day, did I have to fight for it? We've moved, and if you take a look, and I think I can say this with confidence, the last vehicles we've brought on have been phenomenal. We understand that the way we're going to move perceptions is we need to start bringing out world-class winning vehicles. This vehicle is one of those. So and I can say that from support from Mark Royce, Mary Barra, Alan Beatty has been there. They know we are no longer in this just to be in the middle of the pack, just to compete. We're here to win.
Yeah, the last one went to a lot of fleet sales, right, basically?
Towards the end of its life, it did, And this one is we don't think there's going to be a need to repeat that. I think this one's a winner.
And it's also a world car, right? So it's not just being sold in America. Where else is this? Obviously China is one of your biggest markets.
Yep. We're manufacturing in 3 regions. So in North America, we're manufacturing in Kansas, and it's going to be provided for Mexico and for Canada and the U.S. as well as export to Israel. We are building them, and we're building the current one as well in China for the Chinese market. And then we're also
big back seats.
Pardon me?
They like big back seats.
Yes, they do.
And small engines. And you have a small engine and a big back seat. I wonder how that came about.
Should be a winner. And then also we're building it in Korea for the Korean market as well as an export hub to the Middle East, to South America, and a couple of other countries.
Now the car starts at $22,500.
Yep.
And if you go all out, it's about $38,000.
Yeah, it's about 36-ish.
You're shipping them to dealers, so it's available now.
Yes, it is. Yep.
So is your job done, I guess?
No, it's never done, right? Because we're going in. Part of it would be. This is a big milestone day for us, so this is a great day for us.
Yeah.
Because it's out, people are seeing it, you're seeing them on the roads. We're introducing them to people like you guys and getting your impressions, getting the feedback. And if you're an engineer or if you're someone who likes to create, you want to see what people think of what you've done. Yeah. You want to feel that what you did was well done. But we're working on getting the plant up to full rate. We're working on our 17 models. We're working, and we're building those in the plant already. We're working on the prototypes that we have out at Milford for our 18s. We're starting to finish the styling on our 19s, and we're starting to talk about what does 2022 look like. So,
wow,
it is an ongoing.
It's a tough job because if the car is successful, it's like it's like being a starring pitcher, right? Yeah. If you're if you pitch a game, you're going to be the star. But if you let them hit a bunch of home runs off of you.
Yeah, you're the GOAT, man. This is the best job in the business when it's good, and it's the worst job in the business when it's bad. But it attracts a certain type, and I'm the give me the ball kind of guy.
Do you benchmark the competition? Do you look at like the Camry and say, this is what the Camry's bringing to the table, and we want to?
We do. When we start off and defining a program, we start coming in with what we call, what do we need to do to win, right? And so when we took a look at this, we said, okay, what we need to win, and we found through this is the styling, the technology that we're going to enable, and more importantly, the fuel economy. And we felt that we could get to the fuel economy gains that we wanted, okay, with the 1.5, with downsizing of that, and then with the hybrid. And then we can provide those people that still want a performance, a handling car with our 2 liters. So we felt we could meet that market without having to do that. Now, as we go forward in the future and things become more and more difficult from a fuel economy standpoint or more competitive, we'll sort out where that plays.
Yeah, I hope you stick with the automatic, or at least traditional transmissions, because I'm not a big fan of CVTs.
Well, and our 6-speed is very well refined. We've been doing this probably since 2005, 2006, I think is when we first came out with it. So over time, we've gotten them really, really good. And I don't want to speak for you, but you've driven the cars and you can see how they handle.
Yeah, I just drove actually back to back all the cars that you brought to the table here, the competing cars, and yeah, there's certainly different flavors of car. It's a crazy competitive market.
It is.
It's tooth and nail, and in my mind, the best looking car, just going from the outside, was always either the Mazda 6 or the Ford Fusion. And now I think you're in that mix with the Malibu.
I think so.
And that's very personal.
Yeah. It is. It's an opinion.
I think it's gorgeous. I do love the torque. Look at that. The traction control had to kick in.
Nice. Hybrid, huh?
I do love the torque in this car. Yeah. I mean, that is. I think out of all three, right? The hybrid, the 1.5, and the 2 liter. Yeah. This one actually has the most get up and go.
Because it's instant, right? I mean, it's now. It's there. It's the electric motor's giving it to you.
Yeah, and of course, this car's going to live or die to some extent by fuel prices. Yep. And so right now, it's not a great time to bring them to market because you're at under $2 a gallon in a lot of places in the country.
Yeah. Well, but if you take a look, I don't know that people really sit down and do I'm going to buy a hybrid decision based on the economics. Because if you really look at it, it's not significant enough to warrant the expense on some of the models that are offered, right? I think people do it because it's a proclamation of what they believe, right? Yeah. And certainly, we're in California.
You're flying your freak flag.
You're flying your freak flag. And I think
your green flag.
Yeah. So I think that's why they're attracted to it. And so our goal was to make the hybrid be a regular, good car with great performance, and you just demonstrated that it is.
We're back. It's a hybrid. You good? Yeah. I was hoping that we could actually get all 4 of the competitor cars on a airplane takeoff strip and do a little drag race. Can you make that happen for us?
I don't think so.
No?
I don't think we're going to do that. No, I don't think.
See which of these that we're coming up on here is the fastest?
Well, because part of it is, and that's a big element, it's good and everything, but a lot of these are everyday drivers, right?
Sure,
so we want you to drive them around here. And
not drag race them?
Not drag race them,
But that's what these guys want to see.
Yeah, I know. And I'm sure we'll give you the opportunity to do that.
Well, thank you very much.
I enjoyed
Jesse,
that.
I'm going to hold you to that.
Yeah.
I'm going to hold you to that drag race.
Those are fun.
Alright guys, I've got my notes, but this is really where you'll feel the biggest difference in the new car because it is 2.3 inches longer, 1.3 inches more legroom back here, and of course a 4-inch longer wheelbase. And you can really tell that when you sit in the back seat. There's just a lot more room. Is it as roomy as the segment leading Passat? Probably not, but it's darn close. And you know what? I even have, I wouldn't say sufficient headroom, but enough headroom to feel like my head is not hitting the ceiling.